Hello, everybody, and we're live today where we're going to be talking about how to manifest wealth and spiritual practices to attract abundance, more of what you want into your life. So, if you're watching this part, you're probably watching the replay. So, make sure you fast forward just a few minutes until we really get it going. And this is a topic that I'm very grateful to be here and sharing some thoughts with you around because it's something that profoundly changed my life and subsequently thousands of our clients. And so the topic is something that we can keep going deeper into. And I've made several videos about it. Today, you will receive some tangible steps and what to actually execute on. It's not often that I've gone into this subject, but after having generated over $10 million in a short period of time, in less than 7 years, I felt it would be a good time to go into it because I realized, looking back at it, I lived with a lot of these principles, and the understanding just obviously grows as you keep creating better results, but there's always better around the corner for all of us. So I hope this serves you. We may think that we know what it is, but abundance has actually very little to do with money at all. It's a common misconception about wealth that you actually don't attract it either. And it's something we're going to go into in this video. Plus, you will receive my four-step formula for attracting more into your life. So very specific tools that you can execute on that will absolutely help you attract, create, and grow more of what you want. So what we have to realize is that wealth is actually energy, and most people confuse the expressed effect of wealth with wealth itself. So money isn't wealth. Money is one expression of wealth, but wealth is something you have access to inside, and you can express it in 1,000 different ways. Unfortunately, most people get hyper focused on money. And today, yes, that is a big part of the subject, but that is not what wealth is. That is the expressed effect of wealth. And so, what we're going to be talking about is a mindset. Hey, Sina, and everybody watching, it's good to have you. What we're going to be diving into today is the mindset part of attracting more. And we're talking about your personality traits in particular. So, for instance, if you're trying to, a lot of people live with a lot of conflicts in their mindset. They try and save their way to wealth, which obviously is impossible. You can't save your way to wealth and attract abundance at the same time. It just doesn't work that way. Some people compete unconsciously, whereas really wealthy people, they create. So we have to start defining the personality traits that aligns with wealth and make those course corrections in our identity and most certainly in our behavior. Another thing that will help you a lot when it comes to building the right mindset, and I'll illustrate it a little later with an illusion and 4 steps that you can execute on immediately, which will help you on your road to wealth. But one thing in particular you should be paying a respectable amount of attention to is the concept around gratitude, because like Wallace Wattles says in his great book, The Science of Getting Rich, first you believe that there's one intelligent substance from which all things proceed. Secondly, you believe that this substance gives you everything you desire. And thirdly, you relate yourself to it through a feeling of deep and profound gratitude. So, in other words, if you want to create more, you're not going to seek it out there. You're going to align yourself with the source within yourself. It's already there. He also says the whole process of mental adjustment and atonement can be summed up in one word, and that's gratitude. So, a grateful heart continuously will attract more of what you're grateful for. So you can actually future pace your gratitude and be so grateful for something that's on its way. And another personality trait for affluent people is that they give freely of their time, their energy, their ideas. And there's a tendency for broke people that never have enough to fall into the trap of thinking that I can't give because I don't have. But that's a mental illusion. That is not true. You may not have on the physical plane, but that doesn't mean you couldn't give on the plane of ideas, the plane of your energy, which is the spiritual realm. The ideas is where your intellect resides. There's so much you can give. And when you do that, eventually it will translate to the physical. So there's a process for turning, let's say, a dollar. This is $1. There's a process for turning that dollar into $1 million. And yes, these are bills I've made myself. I figured, all the governments in the world are trying to print themselves out of problems around money. So let me do the same thing. But it's a metaphor, of course. You can turn $1 into a million if you really follow these steps and you do it right. And there's always better. So I remember a time when I was really struggling. Like, I had nothing on the physical plane, and I had started studying this. And I heard one of my mentors say, if you want more, give more. But it was such a contradiction in my mind, because I fell into that trap too. How can I give more? There's nothing to give. But I started realizing I had time to give. I had my hands. So I started donating that to my charity partner, which has later become my charity partner, Three Square Food Bank, a charity that provides food. I went out there and I started donating my time, and I started volunteering, and it felt amazing. It felt so good. I didn't have enough money to pay my rent, and here I was donating my time. And when we were done, after those 4 hours of packing meals, I learned that I had helped pack meals for about 14,000 kids. It was a big group of us. It made me feel so rich. It made me feel so abundant. It made me feel so like I mattered, like I was significant. And the feeling of significance was key, because a few days later, a message trickled in on LinkedIn at the time, and I never used that platform. But somebody asked if I could do a keynote for them and their company, a keynote speech. And I had primed myself for a while. I had built a self-image that was in alignment with a wealthy, abundant keynote speaker that earned $10,000 or more per speech. That was my identity. And so when they asked me how much my price was for a keynote, I said 14,000, because I figured there was something to negotiate with, because I had built the identity of 10,000 per keynote. And they accepted. They say, fine, that's great. And I was rattled. Here I was earning $14,000 on a keynote, earning more in 50 minutes that I previously earned in maybe 6 months. But I recognized it had something to do with the feeling that I was in a few days prior. The feeling that I was in after having donated my time was a prosperous, abundant feeling. And if you followed me for a while here on my channel, you'll understand that feeling is the conscious awareness of vibration. That is the awareness that you have about the frequency that you're in. That is, if it's an abundant frequency, will attract to you resources, people, ideas, whatever you need to have to go out and create more. And so there's a great lesson there, because most people think they have to get before they can give. It's just the opposite. Abundant people look for ways to give first. So if you're struggling, give. Give first. Give on the intellectual, give on the spiritual, give on the plane of time, whatever you choose to give. But there's a lesson in where prosperity lies and abundant lies. It's in your ability to be of service to your fellow human beings. We have a client. He went from having a job he didn't like to earning the same on a Monday morning that he previously earned in an entire year of working in a job he didn't like. That is the expression of an abundance mindset. And where did it originate? It originated in him understanding the laws, applying them, and then becoming 12 times as effective, 12 times as valuable. That caused him to attract an opportunity that he put into action. I remember another time when, and there's a tendency for your mind to go either or. The source never goes either or. The source energy that you're part of, abundance, goes both and. So I remember a family member of mine passed away, and I always admired her art. She had a beautiful art collection of Urtes, which was a Russian-French artist. Beautiful work. And that whole collection went on auction after she passed, and I just wanted those pictures so badly. And my mind went to, well, that means I have to sell some of my investment portfolio in order to, because I didn't have that lying around in cash, I have to sell some of my investment portfolio to go and buy that art collection. But then I stopped myself and I reminded myself that that's not true. That's a mental illusion. It's not either or, it's both and. I can keep the investment and I can just go create more. So I decided to download an idea that would be so valuable for my fellow human beings, and I executed on that idea. And I was able to earn the money that was needed to bid on that art. So you see, where was the wealth? Where was the abundance all along? It was inside. Wealth is your ability to download ideas and generate valuable concepts that will cause you to attract the thing we call money. Does that make sense at all? Let me know in the chat if it does. So think about it. Have you had that intuitive hunch in your life where you felt that urge to give, but you sort of held yourself back a little bit? Or maybe you did give. And how did that feel like? Maybe you got that intuitive feeling. That's what Thomas Troward talked about in The Spirit of Opulence, that it's the intuitive feeling, it's the intuitive recognition of the great law of circulation. So you have those moments where you feel inclined to give, but then your intellect sort of limits you or talks you out of it. You should give in those moments. You should give to a point where it's uncomfortable. The moments I've done that, that's really when my life changed tremendously. When I've given beyond what was reasonable, when I was giving beyond what was rational, almost to a point where it was uncomfortable. And then, of course, years later, after I donated my time to Three Square, I've been donating a lot of money as well. And I remember the first check I wrote was the first $20,000 I earned. And I wrote a check for $20,000 and I went out with it and I donated that to them because I knew that that was going to help them create thousands and thousands of meals to kids that needed it. And again, that took me to the next level in what it meant to be to live with a more prosperous mindset. The reverse holds true as well. So you have people around you that are, they're calculating. I had a friend for a long time. I don't spend time with them anymore because of this. They always had an agenda. You felt it when you were around them. They wanted something. So they may have given you something on the surface, but there was an underlying expectation of getting. Those people, they're always trading, but that's not giving. And they will never win. They always lose out. And last time I checked, this person did lose out on a lot of opportunity because they always were trading. They were always trying to get something out of other people. That's not abundance at all. Abundance is giving freely without any attachment. And so reflect on that in your life and ask yourself, when have you felt an inclination to give? To give because it felt good. Give to a point where it's almost uncomfortable. And I guarantee you the law will take care of it. You'll receive again. But we don't give to get, of course. We give because it feels good. We give because it puts us in a vibration of wealth, of abundance, of more than plenty. And so let's get into the 4 steps that I talked about earlier and how you can apply them. But first, let's remember that it's not about money at all. Some of the best books that's been written about this concept doesn't go into money. The best books, You Too Can Be Prosperous, Robert Russell, Science of Getting Rich, Wallace Wattles. There's Joseph Murphy has written a great one on abundance as well, like Your Right to Be Rich. There's Your Infinite Right to Be Rich. There's so many great materials on this topic, and they never, if very rarely, do they go into the concept of money, because that's just an expressed effect. They go into the state behind it. They go into the identity behind it, and that is where it came from. That's one thing Bob Proctor taught me some years ago, and that's what changed everything. I went from $40,000, which was the most I've ever earned in a year, to $750,000 11 months later, because I stopped focusing on getting. For all these years, I've been focused on getting. And of course, that never works. So here are the 4 steps. First, you must get very clear on what it is that you want. Very clear. You got to get very clear on a number that represents the amount that you want. Maybe, and I never recommend just one amount. Actually, I recommend that you set a financial goal per month so that it's a continuous thing. It's not just a one-time amount. So you want to get clear on what you want. That is the first thing. Get very clear. Oh, I want more money. That's not a goal. That's sort of a general life circumstance that most people want but never end up achieving. So get clear on the amount. That's the first step. Two, be very grateful that you are one with your source of supply. You don't attract abundance, you actually release it. That is the misnomer. We don't attract abundance, even though I know we even wrote it in the title for this video. You release it from within. You release it in valuable ideas. The abundance you seek is a response to that release of valuable ideas within you. So that is the second step. Be very grateful that you are one with your source of supply. You don't need to get anything. You already have it. It's already inside. Oh, and so what you want to do here in this step is to identify ways to become a person of increase. So in your job, for instance, start looking for ways to add value to your employer, add to prosperity. If you help your employer earn more, trust me, you will earn more. It's just a matter of time. You become a person of increase. If you are a business owner, look for ways to service your clients at a higher level. Be very grateful for the fact that you already have access to those ideas for how to serve at a higher level, either in your job or in your business. All right, this is so important. So one, get very clear on what you want. Two, be grateful that you are one with your source of supply. You don't attract wealth, you release it. You have it within yourself. And three, identify ways to become a person of increase, ways to release more in your life towards your employer, towards your business, towards your clients. As you're focused on becoming more, you will automatically receive more. It's just a matter of time. And of course, the fourth step is to take action in alignment with those ideas. So you have to take action, but also in a state of faith. Faith that it is already done. Faith in the idea that this is already done. And so this takes courage. It absolutely takes courage. You can understand these words. We hear faith all the time. Best definition of faith was the one Bob Proctor gave me. Faith is the ability to see the invisible, believing in the incredible, and that enables you to receive what the masses call impossible. But faith is the idea that you act on the idea without proof, without evidence in your physical world. So you see, this is a mental game. You've got to identify the goal, be very clear on it. You have to be very grateful for the fact that you have access to an infinite source of supply. It's already inside. Three, you got to start acting in harmony with that identity and look for ways in how to increase the world around you, your employer, your team, your business, your colleagues. And four, have faith in the idea that it's already done and then take action. As an example, how did we manifest our multi-million-dollar home here in Miami? We did that because we had faith in the process. I signed the purchase agreement without knowing how we're going to pull this thing off, but I had faith. And once the thing was signed, I operated from a completely different frequency again. I had faith in the process. But again, from that frequency came new ideas on how to serve more and become more to my fellow human beings. And of course, it worked out. So that is the four steps I've used for years. I'm not just somebody who's learned to talk about these things. I've actually done it to the best of my ability, but I know I can get better at it. I know I can get way better. And that's why I study this all the time. So the point is, you don't attract money. You attract the opportunity that will enable you to earn money. You see that on full display with lottery winners, for instance. They maybe get a whole chunk of money. And usually it's broken, poor people that play the lottery because they don't understand how to create more from within. Interestingly enough, I was addicted to gambling in my early years when I was younger. The moment I started learning how to earn more, that addiction just went away. I'd gambled on something outside of me for years. And I lived in Las Vegas where the whole world came to gamble on everything outside of themselves. And I did too in the beginning. But as I started learning these principles and applying them, I realized abundance is within. Odds of me creating $1 million tomorrow is much bigger than going and playing a slot machine. But anyways, broke people gamble on everything outside of themselves. Abundant people gamble on themselves. And the people that finally end up winning the lottery after having played that for years, they lose the money just as quick. Come fast, lose fast. That's the way it works. because they're still living with the same poverty mentality. They never changed. You can take people out of poverty, but you can't take the poverty out of people unless they choose to, right? So abundance is released. And my recommendation today is that you utilize our abundance meditation. We're going to link to it here in the chat, and we'll also link to it on the end screen here with the video recommendations. And we will add a few other videos that I've done on this subject that will help you take this even deeper. All right. So there you have it. That is your 4-step process to abundance, to attracting more, to creating more in your life. I don't doubt whether or not this works. I know it works because I've demonstrated by my results that I know it works. So you should have faith in these 4 steps. Don't go seeking more information. More information is not going to do it for you. It's the implementation that's going to count and that's going to make the difference. It's the application of wise thought that count, not more information. So I would recommend that you watch this video a few times, apply them, let me know in the chat how this works out for you. I'm always excited to hear from you. And Sina, thank you for popping it in there in the chat. So for those of you who are live, you can click on the link. It will take you there right away, and you can get started immediately in the process of releasing more abundance in your life. So how do you turn how do you turn $1 into $1 million? You follow these steps, and that will put you on a path to an abundant wealth mindset in your life. It's not who you are that holds you back from anything you want in your life. What's holding most people back are all the illusions of who they think they're not. See you again very soon. Bye for now.